Whenever she turned on the radio, there was nothing going down at all. And one fine morning she turned on the New York station. She couldn't believe what she heard at all. She started dancing to that fine, fine music. You know her life was saved by rock and roll. Despite all the amputation, you could dance to a rock and roll station. It was alright. All right. I didn't come to play as much as I came to talk about this song by Lou Reed, Mr. Lou Reed, the biggest asshole in rock and roll, depending on who you talk to. He was first with the Velvet Underground. He was like the ringleader, band leader. Last time we talked about David Bowie, and David Bowie and Lou Reed had a relationship for years. David Bowie actually helped Lou Reed with his album Transformer. It was his second solo album, actually, and that album had Walk on the Wild Side. So this is in '72. And we're not going to talk about Walk on the Wild Side, although we could. This is the gospel of rock, by the way. And can't think of a better song than Rock and Roll for this channel and this thing that is being presented, the gospel of rock. I just want to mention, though, because last time my computer died and we didn't really get to talk about changes. I want to mention a couple other things about changes. He's talking about himself. David Bowie, this is autobiographical. Even when he talks in the second verse, when he says, these children that you spit on as they try to change their worlds, he's also talking about himself, of course. They're immune to your consultations. They're quite aware of what they're going through. Talking about himself. Don't tell them to grow up and out of it. I think it's a way of saying, get over rock and roll. They're going to grow up and out of rock and roll. Hold that thought for a second. He also says, where's your shame? You've left us up to our necks in it. That's a little bit harder to understand. But at the end, he says, look out, you rock and rollers. Pretty soon now you're going to get older. And now what is he saying there? Is he saying they're going to change, everyone's going to change. Maybe they're going to give up rock and roll. Maybe rock and roll is, he seems to be contradicting himself. He seems to be saying that, you may end up, growing out of rock and roll. And that's how he ends the song. So, he seems to be, like I said, I don't want to say contradicting himself, actually. I'd rather say that he is not wanting to be pinned down. And like I said, he had an ambivalent relationship with rock and stardom, and he wanted to quit several times at least, from what I understand, from what I've read. And he definitely matured as an artist, and he, his his music evolved beyond rock and roll, although rock was always, in some degree or another, he was always known as a rock artist. But his music changed, and he incorporated other elements and other genres, and he was one of the pioneers in that regard. I just read this thing about how he and Lou Reed, they were friends, and they helped each other. Lou Reed apparently asked David Bowie to produce his 1979 album, and then David Bowie, who had just recently gotten clean himself, he had been addicted to cocaine apparently.